LegacyMaker, the All Sports Network.
This is it. This is for all the chips. Work for championships. No, it gets no better than this. Just sit and relax a bit. We're talking to pass and blitz. We're talking to jump and switch. We're talking to pitch and miss. Clean space, kick space. You come to the right place. Beat bait. I don't need to see other shows. I'm straight. Cause they're not impressing me. I tune into Legacy. Legacy. Fourth and goal and on the road. Legacy. Down 3 seconds to go. Legacy. 2 out, bases loaded. Legacy. It's not a mystery, you're tuned into Legacy. Check the flag on the final lap. Legacy. 12th round, who gets in the match? Legacy. You want a legacy? You build a legacy. Broadcasting live right now so the whole world can see.
Now, the LegacyMaker Sports Podcast.
Welcome, everybody. We about to get this bad boy started.
Here are your hosts, Darrell Owens and Jay Quimby.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the LegacyMaker Sports Podcast here on the LegacyMaker Sports Network, episode 292, ladies and gentlemen. And we are glad to be back. It's been a month since we've been on, but we've been on, but not on. So we've been doing the podcast. We're doing Legacy on Fire. We have taken a break with Legacy on Fire. We'll be back at Legacy on Fire after the NFL draft. Of course, our draft special, it's on the horizon. All that good stuff is happening. And we felt so good this week that we're doing 2 episodes this week. We got 292 now, but right here for everyone to know, for everyone to celebrate greatness with us, we would like to announce that on Friday we have a special guest coming on for episode 293 of the LegacyMaker Sports Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna have an amazing guy, Mr. LeGarrette Blount. 3-time Super Bowl winner LeGarrette Blount will be joining us on Friday for the podcast, and we are excited to bring the 3-time Super Bowl champ in. We'll have him on, and hopefully you guys will be able to join us for this episode. Jay, how pumped are you that we've got LeGarrette coming in to join us on Friday?
I'm really pumped because after I would say we let Ward walk, and then all we had was A-Train for a while. Mm-hmm. He was the Cadillac tried but got folded backwards. No bueno, never came back to what he was. So LeGarrette was just one of those guys that some stuff happened before the draft. He fell out of completely getting drafted, and we were able to snag him off the Tennessee Titans practice squad. And one of 2 undrafted people or running backs ever to have 1,000 yards accumulated in their rookie year. I mean,
and that's amazing.
Well, he invented that damn the high jump over the tacklers.
Yeah,
that Zeke did for like 2 years, and then he got paid, and he's like, I ain't gonna run no more.
I'm good. I don't need to do it anymore.
I'll be a cheerleader.
Yeah, we are very, very excited. Like I said, LeGarrette Blount, he will be joining us for the Friday episode, our special episode here of the LegacyMaker Sports Podcast. So for those who know or you're a fan of football, make sure you definitely join us. Now, before we get started, we have a lot to talk about today. Obviously, we're going to talk about all the NFL moves so far in the offseason, kind of break down, go through each team and give you a quick feel on how we feel on those teams and what they did. We're also going to
my light.
Break your light? Yeah, you broke your light. That's not good. And then we do our top 10 NFL mock. Now, of course, we're getting closer and closer to draft season. Our draft show will be happening. As of right now, it's on Sunday, April the 24th. We will be getting the time for you soon. But our annual draft special, I believe this is our 5th one. This is crazy. I think this is our 5th one. So
it is very much. I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
No. And this draft special is going to be dedicated to our friend Andre Williams Bay because he was there for our very first one and he helped put that one together. So in honor of him, and congratulations to his wife and new addition baby girl. So God rest your soul, brother. We love you, but we are dedicating that show to you, my man.
That means we all got to be on our A game. So all you guys in the network, we love you, but if you ain't gonna bring it, get out. I don't mess around when it comes to Dre, because I mean, we were that bus tour we did down to Orlando. That was one of our big, things that we did. And he might have took some unflattering pictures of me up with some filters, but it was fun. It was one of the best times that we've had. I really do miss the man, and I'm sure I can't even describe what type of warrior his wife is. There's no words.
It's gonna be a great time, and we can't wait to honor our guy. But it's gonna be, how excited we get for draft season. Now we'll talk about that today. Also, we'll give you our predictions on baseball, our World Series prediction on our preseason prediction on who we think will go to the World Series, and as of right now with the NBA playoffs starting.
Really, Becca? Fuck you.
What's wrong? What
in the
happened?
Comments, he is more pumped about LeGarrette Blount than he is about getting married.
Oh.
I am so pumped that I got to marry one of my best friends in the entire world, but it was so fucking stressful. Like, wow, if you're gonna get married and you love them, elope. Don't do this dumb shit.
Don't do it. Elope. That's your advice to people. Don't spend the money. Just
because you get nervous, and then the day of, anything could go wrong. Our honeymoon, why it was great because we were together, was Murphy's Law. It was a giant shit show, to be honest. Disney, you fucking dropped the ball.
They got to make it up in August?
Well, I'm very lucky and honestly blessed. Now, this woman is just takes very good care of me, and I try to reciprocate the same. Great partnership. She is my other best friend besides you, and I can talk to you about the same thing. I just can't do the things I do to her or to you.
Touche, homie, and let's keep it that way. All right, now before we get rolling, because we got a lot to get into, I want to give this quick shout out. This year was my third season announcing football games for the Blessed Sacred Huguenot Knights football team. This year they went 10-1, and won the state championship, the VSFL Division II state champion, Blessed Sacred Huguenot. So I got all my attire on, got my championship shirt on today, got my hat. Want to give love to them today. So make sure I got that shout out. Thank you, James Poor and the crew up there at Blessed Sacrament Huguenot. So now let's get into it. We got a lot to talk about. And we're going to talk, first of all, off-season moves. And like I said, we're going to go through all of these teams, and we're going to talk about the off-season, and we're going to talk this is probably going to be a nice chunk of the show. So if you love to hear about the off-season moves, get ready, because it's what we're about to bring to you on this one. Now, obviously, we're not going to hang on all of them all day, but we definitely want to go through a lot of these and kind of give
Pops
some love.
Is watching, and he says, love you guys. Love you, old man.
Pops, we love you too, brother. Snowman was on here a couple of minutes ago. I wanted to give I know we can go on and on because, it's been a while since me and Jay have been on. So we like to at least give a chance to, give these shout outs to people because, maybe we don't see them every day. So Snowman, love you, brother. Congratulations on getting that cancer out of your system, brother. I know the surgery went successful yesterday, so congratulations on that. Keep strong, stay strong, and we got you prayed up, brother. Got you prayed up.
Absolutely. Keep whooping that ass, dude. That's all I can say.
That's right.
It's a struggle.
Pops, you already know we love you, so you know how that goes down.
And if you don't, put your helmet on.
All right, so let's get into it. Off-season moves. Now, we're going to start our first set of off-season moves. We're going to talk about, and we're going to go in order here. First, we're going AFC East, the Buffalo Bills. These are the transactions the Buffalo Bills made during the offseason. They re-signed Matt Barkley. Case Keenum was acquired in a trade. Jamison Crowder came in on a one-year deal. Duke Johnson also came in on a one-year deal. Stephon Diggs returning. This happened this morning. 4 years, $96 million extension, which includes $70 million guaranteed and lowers the cap number for this Buffalo Bills team. Jake Kumaro, one of Aaron Rodgers' favorite targets before Green Bay said, no, we don't want you no more. Isaiah McKenzie, O.J. Howard, which was a nice move. Out Bojegger, I know I destroyed his name. Ike Bojegger or Bodengagger. I could have destroyed it.
Just let it go.
Roger Stafford, Mitch Morsell, Shaq Lawson, Daquan Jones, Tim Settle, which was a nice move by them, Jordan Phillips, Saran Neal, and the big one on defense, Von Miller, 6 years, $120 million. As I name those and I go over that Buffalo Bills roster there, or what they signed, what are your thoughts? I mean, because this in my opinion makes Buffalo a favorite heading into the season.
Everything for them was an A+ until the Von Miller, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Von, but the length of the deal, along with his age and his production going down. Yes, he was the team. Both teams, because from the Broncos they had Bradley Chubb on the other side, and then you take them to the Rams and they're watching for everybody.
Right
now, you come in and Edmonds is a great linebacker. I'm not going to take anything away from him, but he is not a sack artist. And I'm going to say, giving Von that much money for that length, I'm that's the only deal I'm down on.
Yeah, I was a little surprised on the move to an extent. I think a lot of people were, because everybody thought it was either going to be the Broncos, the Cowboys, or the Rams. I think those are the teams I think most people heard the most of. A lot of people thought he was going back to Denver. So for Buffalo to come out of the woodworks and say, look, man, we're going to offer you this money. You can tell right now that the Buffalo Bills are all in on trying to go and get themselves a Super Bowl. They've been to 4. They didn't win any of them. And they know that they've got a lot of talent on this team right now that they've got to, take care of business. Plus, they got a brand new stadium coming in a couple of years. So they want to
what's the number one thing they didn't address? I know they got Duke Johnson, but that doesn't fix.
Running back. I mean, when you
he's
go and
more
look
of a receiver.
Yeah, I mean, Duke's are all right. He's going to be a solid, but now you have like 4 all right guys at running back. You don't have a guy you be like, man, this guy's going to change the landscape. You got Duke.
Exactly.
You got, I think Beretta might have actually signed with somebody else, and then you got Singletary and Moss, and neither one of them have done anything. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo, with their first pick, goes after a running back. I mean, because to me, that's the only hole that they have.
It would be a reach at that, because they need to get somebody secondary wise or a wide receiver. Go with what the deepest part of this class
That's
is.
true too.
Because right now there is no single running back that has put themselves in first round tender, let alone early second. So I mean,
I do like. Go ahead, Jay.
You like Breece? I know you like Breece Hall.
No, I do. But what I was saying was, even though I think they're going after receiver, they did sign a lot of these receivers. Isaiah McKenzie, Kumaro, Crowder is one I really like, because when Crowder's healthy, even with the Jets, we saw what Crowder could do when he was healthy while with the Jets. So if he stays healthy, this will be
he stays healthy.
And that's the key thing. If he stays, where's the white?
If you take those receivers that they signed, they're all slot guys. They're not another number 2 receiver to put on the outside to take the pressure off of Stephon. Or OJ. I have respect for OJ, but he could never stay healthy either. And he was in Tampa where it was warm. Now imagine he gonna be where it's cold. He played in Alabama. It's warm there.
So
bless his heart. I mean, do you remember what was it, Jace Amaro?
Mm-hmm.
That they drafted in the second round, did nothing, and then they went and got Austin Seferian-Jenkins, did nothing.
Austin Seferian-Jenkins. I haven't heard that name in a long time. Sounds like a law firm. But yeah, this Buffalo team seems to be locked and loaded. But the AFC East wasn't done. Let's look at the Miami Dolphins. They signed Teddy Bridgewater to a $6.5 million fully guaranteed deal. It can be worth up to $10 million with incentives. Here's the most, to me, I love these 2 moves the most, even with everybody else I'm about to name. Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert also signing with this team. Alec Ingold, I could be saying that wrong, signed a 2-year deal. Tariq Hill signs a huge deal with this team, 4-year, $120 million extension. Trent Sherfield, I never heard of that guy. Preston Williams, Cedric Wilson, another receiver, giving him tons of weapons. Mike Gesicki, he signed back. Durham Smith, Teron Armstead, the probably the best, if not the best lineman that was in this free agent class. Connor Williams, they signed Connor Williams. Emmanuel Ogba, Duke Riley, Eldon Roberts, Brennan Scarlett, and Xavier Howard agreed to a new 5-year deal worth $90 million. The Dolphins, to me, Jay, came to play. Like, they went out there and said, this look, Tua, we gave you everything you need. Come on now. What's the deal?
The only concern I have is if, and this is no shot at Tua, I promise, but is he going to be able to make that 60-yard bomb and stay in stride with Tariq's speed?
That's the question. Now, we've seen it. We've seen him do it, but on a collegiate level. We haven't really seen that 70, 60 foot with the bigger football, and that's when I guess the hand thing comes in draft-wise. I don't know how big his hands are because I haven't measured them or anything like that. But
any of you fantasy guys, you need to get one of the 2 new acquired running backs, because I have a feeling that this coach is going to run that run block scheme that has been so prevalent, out there in San Francisco.
If it was me, Edmonds is definitely the guy to go on that. If Mostert is healthy, oh my God, they got a 2-headed monster. But as you can tell, the last couple of years, he has been banged up strategically. But I did like what this Miami Dolphins team did. Next, the New England Patriots, Brian Hoyer, Ty Montgomery, not on the network Ty Montgomery, but Stanford, former Packer, former Saint Ty Montgomery. James White resigns. Devontae Parker, which they just got in a trade this week from the Dolphins for a 2022 5th-round pick and a 3rd-rounder. Trent Brown. They brought him back. He was I think he went to Oakland, Vegas, came back. James Farizitz, I don't know that guy. Juwan Bentley, Matt Wilson from the Cleveland Browns in a trade. Malcolm Butler is returning. Devin McCourty, Jabril Peppers, Nick Folk, and Matthew Slater, the 75-time Pro Bowler on special teams. Yeah. I mean,
they did good secondary wise. They really looked at defense, but I mean, come on, let's be honest. Mac Jones balled out. I'm not going to take anything away from Mac Jones. He can run that offense. He can throw it. Devontae Parker when is he not hurt? Let's start there.
That's the thing, man. Like, I think we were talking in our group chat, and our man James Brown was like, there goes another receiver on the board for the Packers. But I'm like, I really ain't want Devontae Parker. He couldn't stay healthy. And goes back to your point. He couldn't stay healthy in the heat out there in Miami. What makes you think he can stay healthy in the cold? Nah, bro. Nah, I couldn't do it.
And the need to get a wide receiver and, give up what they got. You remember Brandon Cooks? Didn't he go there and play 1 year? And I mean, he was fast. He was good. They need to do their research, and they need to draft better because, remember when they took that one guy over DK Metcalf?
Yeah, that's true. They still heard they were trying to trade him. I think out of all of the signings that I do like the most, I do like the Mac Wilson pickup. Because they've always had really good success at the linebacker position, and Mac Wilson showed some promise, and so I like that move. I like that move for this New England team, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to get him over the hump again. But we thought last year that you're the only person that had him finish in second. I thought they were going to finish third last year, and they proved everybody wrong there. So we'll see. All right, let's swing to the last team in the AFC East, the Jets. Joe Flacco returns in a 1-year deal. Mike White, who had a nice little run, he is returning. Tevin Coleman is returning. Braxton Barrows, who actually had a pretty good year towards the end, signs a 2-year, $12 million deal. Tyler Conklin from Minnesota. CJ Uzma. Am I saying that wrong?
The tight end from the Bengals.
They got two solid tight ends now. They're Connor McDermott, Laken Tomlinson from San Francisco, who was a top pick in the
guard.
Dan Feeney, Nathan Shepard, Solomon Thomas, who in a lot of people's eyes has been a bust, Jacob Martin, DJ Reed, Jordan Whitehead, LaMarcus Joyner, and Greg Zuerlein. All are New York Jets. A lot of people think the Jets had a really good offseason, and they were pretty solid.
And, you look at what they had already on their team, their secondary is going to be a monster because Jordan Whitehead played great for us. He is one of the guys I'm going to miss for Tampa. And if you go and you look, it's neck and neck between the Bills and the Jets. And I know people are going to look at me side-eyed because I'm not including the Dolphins in there, but we don't know what we're going to see offensively from a new head coach. Brian Flores got okey-doked and screwed. He should still be the head coach there.
And Saleh got some pretty good wins last year against the Bengals, against the Titans, two of the top teams in the AFC. And I think that, they're going to be in really good shape. I think that this is a project in New York, and they got 2 top 10 picks. So, and me and Jay will talk about that later, but we'll talk about who we have been going to. But
they offered the number 10 overall pick to Seattle for DK Metcalf, and they shut it down.
I said no. But if they got Metcalf along with that, could you imagine? I mean, this Jets team would be a completely different dream. Completely different.
Well, you get to see Wilson. I mean, he's got the arm. He's got the mobility. I mean, that would just open up so much for him.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's a different dream. The kid's got talent. Aaron Rodgers said last year he was very impressed with the young man. And that's a lot coming from a 4-time MVP. All right, let's move to the AFC North. Now, the AFC North, the Baltimore Ravens, we start with them, and they didn't make a lot of moves. They signed Patrick Ricard to a 3-year deal. Morgan Moses, former Washington, at the time, Redskin.
Commander.
Or commander, whatever way you want to put it, and a former Jet. He moves back to a little bit closer to home. The Baltimore signs a 3-year, $15 million deal. Michael Pierce signs a 3-year, $6.5 million deal. And then Marcus Williams from the Saints, and I know you're glad to have him out of the division, signed a 5-year, $70 million deal with the contract includes $37 million guaranteed. And
I'm
that's
glad
pretty
he's
much
out of the division, but I mean, if you remember, he's the one that missed that tackle on the Minnesota Miracle.
That's also true too. But yeah, they didn't make any big flashy moves. I think the one thing that most people would look at immediately with Baltimore and say, "Where's the receiver?" That's what most people would say. Even though Hollywood Brown had some moments,
But fall back on this class. Dobbins got hurt. And he was looking like he was going to have a big year. They still have Mark Andrews, who is amazing for his size. He's very, very agile. That's going to be the go-to. But they didn't really get any pass rushers. They run that 3-4, and they were not the defense. Like, we didn't even think the coach was coming back, to be honest.
Right.
We thought Harbaugh was gone, but I mean, we shall see.
Yeah, we shall. I mean, it's like I said, the draft always gives you that optimism, and we'll see where they go with it. Now, next we talk about the defending AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals. They re-signed Brandon Allen. Hayden Hurst comes in over from Atlanta. Lyle Collins from Dallas. Alex Kappa. From the Tampa Bay
Buccaneers.
Ted Karras. Isn't he also from you guys? Didn't they take both for 2 of you guys?
Ted Karras was with us, but he actually played the last couple of years in New England.
Okay, all right. And then BJ Hill, Josh Tupa, Eli Apple, which I was very surprised to see that happen. Jesse Bates returns, defensive back Michael Thomas, and long snapper Clark Harris. What I liked the most and what everybody screamed about, Jay, about this Bengals team was if Joe Burrow had got protected in that Super Bowl, they win that Super Bowl. He ran for his life. The fact that they even beat the Titans and he got sacked 9 times still blows my mind. So they went out there and they're saying, hey, we're going to go protect our guy.
It definitely tells you that, we've seen a lot of flutter. If we can go back to 2015 and come up. Well, hell, we can even go back to 2011 or 12 draft. I mean, and quarterbacks going number 1 overall. Burrow has really just showed he's the guy. That his quarterback class has a chance to be close to what that 2004 was. So, I mean, I'm very impressed with them. I'm glad that they went out and got the protection. There's still depth that needs to be done and added to there, but I didn't want Alex Kappa to go, but you got to go where the money's at.
Yeah, I mean, but you got to give Cincinnati credit because a lot of people didn't think they were going to – they knew that everybody knew it had to be done, but they went out there and actually did it, and I'm still kind of surprised by it. But This is a big, big deal for the Cincinnati Bengals. Next in the division, the Cleveland Browns. Oh, Cleveland Browns. Here we go. Of course, the big one. Deshaun Watson acquired in the trade. This is what they got. 2024 6th-round pick. Exchange for a 3 first-round picks, 20, 22, 23, 24, a third rounder in 23, and 2 fourth rounders in 22 and 24. Watson will receive fully guaranteed 5 years, $230 million from Cleveland. They also went and got Jacoby Brissett to be his backup after shipping Case Keenum away. Amari Cooper also brought in on a trade to give them a solid number 1 receiver in Amari Cooper. Jakeem Grant, who can do a little bit things on special teams and has proven he made Green Bay look bad in a game last year. And he's got talent. David Njoku, Chris Hubbard, Ethan Pollock, Chase Winovich. I think I might be saying that wrong. Tavin Bryan, who was a guy a couple years ago, I think got drafted by Jacksonville. Anthony Walker. And this one kind of bothers me a little bit. This happened like a day ago. Corey Bajorquez, the punter from Green Bay. I didn't even know this guy was up for grabs. What? Man, look.
You didn't know that they cut,
I had no clue he wasn't like locked in. When I saw it, I was like, what? But you got to understand, this guy has been one of the best punters in the league the last 2 years, even though Green Bay doesn't punt the ball often. Even in that playoff game, despite the block punt, which I don't completely blame on him, 72 degrees outside or negative 72 degrees outside, and the guys weren't blocking for him. They just went through. But if you
so basically, he's kicking concrete blocks.
Yeah, right. And so he kicked an 80-yard punt last year, which was the longest in the league. And the year before that, he kicked a 72-yard punt, which was the longest in the league. So losing him after we traded for him last year kind of bothers me, but that's okay. It is what it is. Let's talk about Cleveland. Deshaun Watson, obviously the big deal here, Jay. And him, moving over to Cleveland is going to be massive.
Well, they've done nothing with Baker. They want too much for him. They're not going to get it because of the size of his contract. But the thing that really, kudos Watson, if vindicated of all the things being said. He's a great talent. One of those young quarterbacks that has a amazing talent. But what on the other side, they didn't bring back Clowney. They traded Mac Wilson. Chase Winovich has been on the field about as much as me. Coming out of Michigan, everybody assumed he would be one of those outside linebacker passers, and he just doesn't really have the speed to do it. So I was disappointed with what they did in their linebacker. And we'll see the rest of the top tier people signed after the draft. Right. I know they got that guy that Lamont can say his name, Jeremiah Uza.
All I know is he's from the area, baby. That's all I got. He's from the Hampton area. That's all I got.
Well, he's a heck of talent. They got him in the second round, but that doesn't take care of everything. I mean, yes, they still got Myles Garrett. He's a monster, but he's got to have somebody on the other side to help him. He had such a great year because Clowney was out there.
Yeah, and Clowney still
nobody. Exactly.
Yeah,
but they ain't got money to sign him because they haven't traded Baker. That's the thing. They got to get Baker off the books and just be done with it, because that's going to stir the locker room even more if he's still there.
Yeah, so that's where it gets interesting. They got to make that happen at some point. I think we see it happen during the draft. I don't know how, but it either happens right before the draft or during the draft. And they're going to
where do you see him going?
This is tough because a lot of people want to scream Seattle. And I guess it makes sense if you draft a quarterback and Baker's only got 1 year under contract, you can kind of let that other guy kind of, come in and learn the system and go from there. If you're Pete Carroll, other than that, it's really tough because if you think about it, all this quarterback carouseling that happened over the last couple of months, guess what? Like a lot of the quarterback needs were taken care of.
You really thought that he would have been part of the trade for Watson, and he wasn't.
Right, and he wasn't. And supposedly Houston didn't want him. And that was because they felt good with Davis. They didn't want him. Which, what does that say about Baker? You know, I'm trying to think of teams. Obviously, the only teams that come to mind are the Panthers, and the Panthers already said they didn't want him. The Falcons signed Mariota, and I haven't heard anything where it says like, you know, well, we want to give him a shot.
I've heard whispers out of Tampa that they've looked at him and setting him behind Tom.
Let's look at that. Let's look at that real quick. If he goes to Tampa, and Tom does decide that next year is the next year, and he's learning from Tom Brady, if he can, you know, get everything together, I mean, that's nothing but a plus. That means you don't have to worry about right off the bat. We've seen enough from you. They can find out within that year if they've seen enough of Baker to make him the guy, or at least give him a chance after that fact.
Right.
But I feel like he can only goes to a team that may not be, maybe I would just say, like, comfortable with their quarterback, you know, situation. And it's tough because a lot of the people have made moves to fix it. Detroit, maybe. I don't know.
Detroit's got one more year of golf. That could be, and they've got plenty of picks. But then you one place I thought before he got an extension was, you know, the Vikings, and then they gave Kirk Cousins more money, and I was like, what the hell are they smoking?
I think I was trying to look at teams going throughout, you know, maybe teams like quarterbacks that are like kind of skittish right now. And it's like, it's really hard to try to figure. It's like, all right, you look at the AFC East, they're pretty set at quarterback. Let's be honest, as of right now, they're pretty set at quarterback. Maybe Miami, if Tua's just trashing it up, and maybe midseason they trade him to Miami. Potentially. That's just me throwing stuff out there. But San Francisco, I know this is weird to hear, but, you know, Jimmy G has been injured here and there. They did try to trade him this offseason. It didn't happen. They do have
spent the third pick. Yeah.
Yeah, they did spend a third pick on Trey Lance. But Trey Lance also, I think, is, if you watch from what we did see last year, he has the potential, but I think he's still learning. And he did take a year off of football. It's hard to go right back into it after a year off of football and then say, oh, let's go ahead and just start this guy. It's hard. Some people can do it. Some people can't. Not everybody is rich. Tennessee is another spot.
Because, you know, Ryan Tannehill, yeah, he's gotten him to the playoffs, but he hasn't done anything but that.
Yeah, see, that's what makes it tough. Like, I was sitting here trying to, like, scan through the divisions, and I feel like everybody's either just made a move.
We've heard the Kyler stuff out at Arizona. He could end up out there, but I don't think he'd be a good fit for that lot. Right. He's the same thing. You hear the whispers. He's not a leader in the locker room.
Right. For me, if I had to choose, it's either Detroit or Seattle, and that's the only two that I can even see right now.
Or the CFL.
Oh boy. Or wait a minute. Don't forget the USFL just started back up, and the XFL starts next season. I'm sorry, Baker. I know that sounds kind of mean. The Pittsburgh Maulers with their terrible looking. There's some ugly jerseys, man. I'm sorry. I don't like the colors. That's just me, though.
But I'm not disagreeing with you.
I disagree. And the Michigan Panthers. Those are miserable.
Pittsburgh. You know, they still have question mark.
Let's
I know. They got Haskins and Mason Rudolph. I mean, as long as he keeps his helmet on. I don't like anything they got going on quarterback wise there. Haskins, I love Ohio State quarterbacks, but in the league, none of them have done anything to amount shit.
A lot of questionable things happened when he was in Washington. He had some moments. Then the COVID situation happened before he got out of town, and you know, I haven't heard anything bad when he's in Pittsburgh. So I feel like there's going to be a very interesting quarterback battle here. Now, we haven't even looked at the fact that they could draft quarterback, and I'm fully expecting there to be a quarterback controversy heading in the training camp for Pittsburgh. You got Haskins, you signed James Daniels comes in, Mason Cole on the offensive line, Chihuahua Okafor, I know I destroyed that. Jannard Avery, Miles Jack, huge pickup for them in the linebacker position. Robert Spillane, I could be saying that wrong. Arthur Moulette, Levi Wallace, Okoye. I know I destroyed this wrong. Okoye Witherspoon, Miles Killebrew, Carl Joseph, and Gunnar Ozlowski. I just love
I love Killebrew. You know, if Killebrew played in the late 80s, early 90s, he would be an amazing in-box safety of, like, I'm not saying he has the talent of these players, but he would hit this way, like Ronnie Lott or John Lynch. Like, because he gets more flags for, you know, personal fouls for hitting people or defenseless receivers. Well, they're going for the catch. That makes them in play.
Touche, Homer. Touche. Next one, AFC South. We swing there, Houston Texans. Jeff Driscoll, Kyle Allen coming in at quarterback. Royce Freeman, Marlon Mack, which I'm very intrigued by because Marlon Mack had really good seasons up until he got hurt. And then they brought in Jonathan Taylor and we didn't see him on the field anymore. So I'm intrigued to see if he gets – this is his second chance. And the guy's only 25 years old. Like, he's still got a lot of running back years in him unless that injury really put a number on him.
But how many other Pro Bowlers do they still have on the roster? Is Hyde still there? Is Philip Lindsay still there?
I think everybody's gone. Ingram went back to the Saints. I think Lindsay's on another team now, but I can't remember what team it is. And then they also had Johnson. I think David Johnson is still there. So they brought in Royce Freeman and Marlon Mack to go along with that. So they're going to have a running back committee for sure. Chris Conley comes in from Jacksonville. Deshaun Hamilton from the Broncos. He comes in. Farrell Brown, the tight end. Cedric Obulike, to short that. Offensive tackle Justin Britt. AJ Can also come in on that offensive line. Malik Collins, Blake Cashman, Camille Greiger Hill, Neville Hewitt. Christian Kirksey comes back, former Packer, but he was already on the team last year. Desmond King, MJ Stewart, Terrence Brooks, and Jalen Reeves-Maybin. Those are all the guys that the Texans signed. No really big eye poppers, per se.
But I mean, like you said, Mills really played good for being where he was drafted at and the expectations. He did not do terrible. Had to keep his head on a swivel. Offensive line is going to be a definite need for them.
Mm-hmm.
I know that. Where's Tunsil at?
Oh, I thought he was still there, but
I think he's still there. So if they get another, tackle on the other side or potential guard, but there's no real weapons. Chris Conley is a decent receiver. They could do some building in the draft, but they could, or if they do, is completely different.
Well, they got 2 picks in the top 15. So this is the first time I remember in the last, 4 years that we can say, hey, man, the Texans are actually going to make some draft picks because it feel like they gave everybody away the last couple of years. Right? Let's go to Indianapolis.
O'Brien pulling the Chip Kelly.
Yeah, right. So let's go to Indianapolis. The Colts, biggest one. They get Matt Ryan for a steal, just a 3rd-round pick. So that gives them some stability at quarterback immediately. Mo Alley Cox, Matt Pryor, Taquan Lewis, Yankin, Nuagwe, homeboy from Oakland that, that's been good for years.
He was a monster from Jacksonville.
I'm surprised they traded Rocky and Sin. I thought he was really good on that defense. I was kind of surprised by that, but I guess if you need the defense in, you got to go after him. Zaire Franklin and Brandon Faison all are the Colts moves in the offseason. Obviously, Matt Ryan being the big one. I just think they still need a receiver.
And they got him for little to nothing. That's the thing. A lot of our other colleagues absolutely love Pittman Jr. coming out of USC. He hasn't lived up to it. And Campbell, every time he gets on the field, he has a good game. Next game, he gets hurt.
Yeah, we haven't seen Campbell. I think Pittman's a high-ranking number 2, but they need that number 1. He's got potential to be a number 1, but we'll see how that goes with Matt Ryan this year. That could change completely. But right now, if I had to rank him right now, he is a high-level number 2 with a good chance of being a number 1.
I'm not going to disagree because, and Ryan, for once, won't have to run for his life. I mean, right. I'm happy that he's out of my division.
He might be the MVP. I'm just saying, man. Let's think about it. He's always been on the run. They haven't had a good offensive line in Atlanta in years. Even the year they went to the Super Bowl, they were solid. They weren't great, but they were solid. They did the job. he's got the best offensive line by far he's ever had in his career.
James not on here, right? 23-8 or
no.
3-28. That's all I got to say. Solid line. They no, because I think they have like 2 or 3 first-round picks on their down in Atlanta, and they couldn't do a dang thing. So for me, it's going to be better. I mean, look at the holes that they opened for Taylor.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's going to be different when you have a quarterback of Matt Ryan's experience. That's why I still think they need one more receiver, but we'll see how that goes. Jacksonville, Zay Jones comes in. Christian Kirk, who just ruined the whole wide receiver market, and it's probably the reason why Devontae Adams is no longer a Packer. So this one to you, Christian Kirk. Laquan Treadwell, Evan Ingram, who's going to be a tight end / receiver now. Cam Robinson gets the franchise tag. Brandon Sheriff, a nice move there for Jacksonville. Tyler Satley, Arden Key, Foley Fartuski, Foya Anukun, and Trey Herndon and Darius Williams. And those are the offseason moves.
I love your struggles with these names.
Well, because I'm like, once I hear the name once, I'm solid.
It reminds me of when we call Amelia football games. You're like, how do I say this?
Hey, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. If the name is like, if I hear the name once, I'm okay. If I don't hear the name, I'm like,
the thing they really messed up with, and I'm gonna stick by this, is Christian Kirk, of course, they overpaid for a number 3 or 4 wide receiver, and they let DJ Chark walk.
Yes,
he was their go-to guy. He's been solid. I don't like what they have running back wise, but ETN was out all last year. If he comes back, watch out. Jacksonville could actually make some noise if they make the proper moves. They still defensively got things to do, but we'll see.
Well, I'm going to semi-disagree with you on the running back front, only because Robinson has the last 2 seasons has had a really good season. Now, obviously, he got hurt towards the end of last season, and then he got benched weirdly by Urban Meyer. I'm not going to do it. He really got benched by Urban Meyer. He always seems to find a way into the show, but he got benched by Urban Meyer.
But see, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Robinson, but when you run a running back into the ground for 2 seasons consistently,
right.
The fall off. They're no longer built like they used to be. They don't train the way they used to, and running backs are interchangeable piece that they could get a 7th rounder that'll do better than Robinson. He'll be gone. He'll be a has-been.
I'm hoping that ETN coming back with Robinson could really set this team up. Jacksonville has just been a travesty since 2017 when they made it to they were this close to this. They were like this close to the Super Bowl. So I mean, we'll see what happens.
Who is their quarterback?
Blake Bortles was their quarterback. Isn't that the craziest thing? Blake Bortles was the quarterback in that game, and now he is like.
I remember your man crush.
He's like, but because he had potential, and then it just fell off the wheels. Then he signed with Green Bay, which is like the worst thing that could happen. After the fact, but he'll probably go sign with. He wants to be a number. He wants to play at number 2, which I'm still trying to figure out how that works. To be the number 2 and get.
I would sign him to a team and give him the number 2 jersey and say, "There you go, bro."
Boy. All right, next we got the Tennessee Titans. We got they brought back Dontrell Hilliard, who had a pretty good run last year with Tennessee when Henry was hurt. Robert Woods, who was required in a trade. They did release Julio Jones in that process. Austin Hooper, Jeff Swan, Ben Jones, Jamarco Jones. Harold Landry signs a 5-year, $87.5 million extension. Buster Skeen, I think it's Skeen.
Yeah.
And Morgan.
I'm actually taller than him.
Really? And Randy Bullock. This is going to sound mean, but I feel like Tennessee got worse.
Well,
and that's saying a lot.
Tannehill really never found his groove with Julio, and I mean,
it never gave him the ball. It was hard to watch.
If you look at Julio, I mean, how many touchdowns did he have the previous 2 seasons?
Oh,
well, okay, we'll say the one. Because, I mean, Kyle Pitts really thought he should have been Rookie of the Year, but, I mean, he had as many touchdowns as Julio did the year before.
Yeah. He had a really good productive year, but that was also, it's funny about Matt Ryan. Remember a couple of years ago, Julio hadn't gotten the end zone. He was putting up crazy stats, but he was just never getting in the end zone. It was like Matt Ryan's not getting Julio the ball, and we were actually at the game that he scored the touchdown, and they rushed the field. You'd have thought they won the Super Bowl. No pun intended.
I know. Now,
you'd have thought they won the Super Bowl.
Here's something to put in your head. This is the first year that we're going into the draft where AJ Green and Julio Jones are not on a team.
Right. And neither one of them
since 2011.
Well, it's crazy. It's been 10 years of two great NFL players. I'm not going to say both Hall of Famers. Definitely one, in my opinion, will probably get in. I don't think the other will. Is it possible? Yes, but I don't think the other will. I think the injuries are going to end up – they both had injuries, but I think the injuries hurt one more than the other.
Agree.
Let's move to Denver as we head to the AFC West. Josh Johnson signs a one-year cornerback to be the starting quarterback for the Denver. I'm just messing with Lamar. Russell Wilson gets acquired in a trade, 4th-round pick, 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and a 5th-rounder. Drew Lock, Noah Fant, and Shelby Harris all get sent to Seattle in this move. Calvin Anderson, Tom Compton, Billy Turner re-signs with Denver after leaving Denver for Green Bay and now back in Denver. Randy Gregory, who psyched out the Dallas Cowboys, said, "Oh, we signing." Wrong, going to Denver. He signed a 5-year, $70 million deal.
We all know why he did that, right?
And then we got DJ Jones, Deshaun Williams, Josie, Jewel, Malik Reed, Alex Singleton, and Kawan Williams. And that is Denver. Obviously, the big one being Russell Wilson coming to Denver is going to be a huge deal. The defense was already solid, and now you get Russell Wilson.
I mean, that's amazing for them. Very happy for Lamont. I would gladly trade him TB12 for Russell. Not because I'm mad or hate TB12. It's just I know he's a Michigan fan.
You're looking at longevity. Like, I need somebody for the next 5 years, not 1 year rentals.
But this guessing game shit of like, I don't know, I need time, and then waiting, it kind of puts a damper on re-signing free agents. That's part of the reason Kappa walked away, and I'm very happy that he got his deal. He got his money somewhere. But Gronk, we're still playing this back and forth game. I don't know if I want to play.
Right.
But, then don't fucking play. Just tell us, please.
Just tell us now. Don't hold us hostage. I don't like that. I mean, I understand the players, obviously need to, this their bodies. They want to make sure they're okay, but it does put the organization in a bad spot when you're like, man, I got to figure out what we're going to do next. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. I traded Gronk on the offseason in my fantasy league because I was like, I'm not sure if he's coming back or not. I need somebody who I know who's going to play next year.
I'm going to tell you that I have this gut feeling, Howard's gone. Bright's the only tight end that we have right now. And he's not going to play this year. If Brady comes back next year and plays, Gronk will come back. Gronk is
take a year to get healthy.
Not to get healthy. I think he's got side ventures that he's more in. Like, if you follow him on Twitter or Instagram, he's always about his CBD company and or his Bitcoins. So, I mean, I'm not going to get mad at him for doing that, but don't hold the NFL team hostage.
Touche. Next, we head to the Kansas City Chiefs. Chad Hennon comes back as a backup quarterback for the Chiefs.
Isn't he 75?
He's 75 years old. Ronald Jones signed a 1-year, $5 million deal coming over from Tampa Bay. Corey Coleman, listen to this now. Corey Coleman signed with the Chiefs. Corey Coleman last appeared in an NFL game in 2018 with the Giants. It has been 4 years since Corey Coleman has played an NFL game. Isn't that crazy? I did not know that.
What's with these reclamation things because, we had Josh Gordon. Right. He didn't do a damn thing, and now we got Corey Coleman.
Well, they signed him back, so they obviously going to give it another shot there. They released him during the playoffs, and then they signed him back. They signed him back like a week or so ago.
Well, they got to do something because every wide receiver that they had that was decent is gone. There's no Watkins. There's no Pringle.
Pringle is gone. Robinson is gone, and Hill is gone. Their new receiving core: Corey Coleman, Juju Schuster-Smith, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who can catch a deep ball but will drop the football. Take it from a guy who knows. Blake Bell, Orlando Brown, Frank Clark signs a new 2-year, $29 million deal. Could be up to $36 million with incentives. Derek Nadad, Jermaine Carter Jr., Deion Bush, and Justin Reed round out the offseason moves for the Chiefs. Next, the Vegas Raiders. Garrett Gilbert, who's been around a little bit. He was with Dallas. He was with the Commanders or Washington football team as of last year. They also signed Nick Mullins, Amir Abdullah, Brandon Bolden, Jacob Johnson. I'm not even going to read this next one. Demarcus Robinson, Jacob.
You gotta say it, bro.
I'll let you read it. Jacob
Devontae Adams has, Darrell's man, Aaron Rodgers, land on his new pile of cash. He watched his wide receiver and said, "Deuces, bro." And I'm gonna tell you that Adams is gonna ball out as long as he's on the field.
He is gonna have a good season. I told somebody before, I hate to see him go, but I'm glad that he is back with it. Like, he has a relationship with Carr. I've always been a Derek Carr fan, and I've always seen Carr succeed. And what he did last year as a leader on a team that was falling apart at the seams. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
everything that could go wrong, and he held that team together. I mean, yes, he is a true leader, and you look at what and that's why I laughed. I know he's not okay, but
not okay. Still mourning.
But you look at what they've done, and I mean, they signed Max Crosby to an extension. I want to see what is Farrell still there, or they let him walk?
I think
I know they didn't.
As far as I know, Farrell is still there. They did sign Kyler Fackrell, brought him in, who had like a good year in Green Bay, then went to the Giants for a while. Deron Harmon, Rocky and Sin, Anthony Averett, and Jalen Brown, Jonathan Hankins, Vernon Butler, Chandler Jones. You mentioned Max Crosby, Bio Nichols, and those are their signings. And yes, Devontae Adams. But that's okay. I will make it through. I will make it through. Oh my goodness!
No, you won't. No, you won't.
I mean, I'm surviving, man. I'm like,
the thing that I really hope is you don't see that fall off, because every other wide receiver that's left since Aaron Rodgers has been there,
or Brett Favre, you can throw Brett Favre in there too, because they don't do well.
Has nosedived.
Yeah, it's maybe one or two that's been all right. I think like Antonio Freeman had some good movement. Jordy Nelson wasn't terrible, but it just wasn't the same. Javon Walker, his situation was crazy, and I almost forgot about the fact he was in that car accident after he got out of Green Bay, and it just changed his whole life. And James Brown brought that up to me. I completely forgot about it, but yeah, he didn't go. Robert Brooks. I mean, we could go to Greg Jennings. We could go on and on and on about guys.
Greg Jennings was one that I really thought would do decent, and then he dropped the ball literally.
He went to the enemy. Mistake. Next one, we got the Chargers. A lot of people think that the LA Chargers won the offseason. They signed Chase Daniel. They went and re-signed Mike Williams to a 3-year, $60 million deal, which include $40 million and fully guaranteed money over the first 2 years. Jared Everett signed a 2-year deal. Christian Covington, Austin Johnson, Sebastian Joseph Day, which a lot of people think is a steal. They got him for 3 years, $24 million with $15 million guaranteed. J.C. Jackson, Josh Harris, Dustin Hopkins re-signed, who actually played extremely better, just way better once he left the Commanders. I'm going to let that fly too. And then Khalil Mack, the big prize, for the Chargers, man. This Chargers team said, look, y'all can bring all the offense you want, but we about to bring this defense at your butt. And
y'all going to have at least 6 linemen on the field at all times.
I'm telling you, man. Like if they don't make, I'd be surprised if they don't make the playoffs with what they gained in the offseason defensively. Somebody needs to get fired. I hate to say it.
You got that, but then also you got, that secondary is still monster. So
That's true.
and they're going to be healthy. That defense has the potential to be close to what the Ravens defense and that Tampa defense was, unstoppable. And all they got to do is throw the ball. And
Exactly.
they still have Austin Eckler, the I can do everything back.
It's just going to be, like I said, that division is going to be entertainment every week. It's a primetime game every week in the AFC West. All right, let's swing to the NFC. We're halfway through here. As we get through, we told you it was going to take up a chunk of the show. We got other stuff, but this is what we wanted to go through and kind of just get a feel. We haven't done one of these. It's been a month, man. Give us some time. It's been a month since we had a chance to just chop it up. All right, Dallas. Dallas signed Michael Gallup for a 5-year, $57.5 million deal, which includes $23 million fully guaranteed and has a max value of $62.5 million, which also includes a $10 million signing bonus. They went and signed James Washington from –
I love it. From the Steelers.
From the Steelers. And I think that's a low-key move. Things didn't go well for them in those last couple of years in Pittsburgh. Let's see what he does in Dallas. Jeremy Sprinkle, the former Washington commander, re-signs with the Cowboys. Dalton Schultz, who had a breakout year last year at tight end for Dallas. DeMarcus Lawrence came back on a 3-year, $40 million contract. Carlos Watkins, Dante Fowler being there. Leighton Vander Esch is back. Malik Hooker, Jaron Kearse, Jake McQuaid, and Brian Anger is back as the punter there. A lot of people thought Dallas had a bad offseason, but to be honest with you, they gained a little bit, and they lost. I think they kind of broke even. I mean, losing Cooper sucks. Don't get me wrong.
It does.
But you got CeeDee Lamb, you got Gallup, and when Gallup is healthy, he's just as good. I think they're still going to be fine. But a lot of people thought they had a bad offseason. But I'm like, no, they didn't do miserable in my opinion.
I think they have a good one. They definitely still need to work with Diggs. Diggs is great at picking the ball, but if he ain't getting an interception, he getting burned.
He getting burned. And they not regular bird too. We talking about like rushing to school in the morning, toast burnt. You just you wasn't getting prepared.
The one signing you forgot to mention is Jerry Jones paying off people about his out of wedlock babies. I had to, bro.
That's magic. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That's hilarious. and you know what's funny? That was been out there for weeks, and I heard for about one day. Why is that? I'm surprised that's not a bigger controversy in my opinion. But Jerry Jones got that power. Next, the New York Giants, Tyrod Taylor, a very low-key, solid signing for the Giants. Matt Beretta, who came over from Buffalo, Richie James, Ricky Seals-Jones, who actually had a really good second half of the season for the Washington Commanders. John Feliciano, Mark Glowinski, who's coming over from the Colts. That's a really good signing right there for the Giants.
Now, is that Glowinski, Monica's brother?
I am not 100%. Jahad Ward, Justin Ellis, and Casey. I think this is Critter or Crater. It could be one of the two. Like I said, I'm
Jahad Ward is very, very good signing. He is a solid defensive player. But the thing that they still didn't do that I didn't like, they still got Bradbury. He's still there. I don't like James Bradbury. He's not what they should have tried to trade him to the Commanders, because I know, Ron Rivera loves his cornerbacks and bringing them back. Why not get something?
Yeah. Well, we'll see what the Commanders do this year. We're almost at the Commanders. Speaking of, but that's the Eagles. They re-signed Boston Scott, Zach Pascal, Greg Ward, Jason Kelsey, Derek Barnett, Fletcher Cox was released and then signed back a couple days later. Hassan Reddick, Kaiser White, Anthony Harris resigns, and Andre Katre. I'm going to say it's Kashir, but I know I'm destroying that. Nothing big for me on this one. Pascal had some,
but Anthony Harris is one of the top 5 safeties in the league, and he's a hell of a human being. That story where he had a fan that asked him to go to a daddy-daughter dance with her, and he showed up and did his thing. It tells you a lot about a human being right there. So
wahoo wah, baby, wahoo wah.
So
Wahoo.
absolutely.
All day,
But on the sneak, he's a good player. He's a very good player.
I mean, that's the thing. He's a good guy. Got a chance to meet him in person one time. He's just a phenomenal human being. Next, we've got the Washington Commanders, ladies and gentlemen.
Dumbest fucking name ever.
Bobby McCain. I think this is Efe Obada. Tyler Larson, Andrew Norwell, which was a really good signing from Jacksonville. This pretty much was a trade. They switched on Norwell for Sheriff.
But Norwell, I believe, is older than Sheriff. So
he is older than Sheriff. Cornelius Lucas, Cam Sims signed a free agent contract. J.D. McKissick.
I'm not going to say came back.
I'm not going to say I'm disappointed. I think J.D. McKissick was probably their best weapon on offense besides Terry McLaurin. And I know a lot of people say, wait a minute, what about Gibson? No. You got to go back and watch those games. McKissick was huge for this Washington Commanders team. So when he was going to go sign with Buffalo, I'm like, man, Buffalo got their guy. Because if he can produce the way he was producing in Washington and Buffalo, shoot. But then he changed his mind and went back. Buffalo lost out, but Washington definitely got a game, been able to get him back. And then, of course, the new commander, the man that's there to take command in Washington, Carson Wentz, who is the new commander in Washington. And that's the Washington pickup squad right there.
Yay.
Next, we got the Chicago Bears. We head to the north. The Bears signed Trevor Siemian, who started a little bit last year for the Saints. Byron Pringle, one of those Kansas City receivers that we talked about. St. Brown. He played with us, and I still can't say Ignimiquist. His name is actually longer than that, but we're not going to go that deep. Former Packer Ignimiquist St. Brown.
Which is a great pickup for them.
Yeah, which it really is. I think he had moments in Green Bay, but it just didn't materialize. Dakota Dozier, Aquande Muhammad, Justin Jones, Nicholas Merrow, DeAndre Houston Carson, and Patrick Scales, the long snapper, signs a 1-year, $1.27 million deal with a veteran benefit deal. I've never even heard of those before.
Let's talk about what they lost, not what they signed, because
they lost a lot.
They lost a lot, especially on the defensive side. We can go back like 3-4 years ago, and that defense was nasty. And now that defense, I'm pretty sure that the Alabama second string team could go against them and score. I mean, yeah. And they didn't do anything right. Justin Fields is the quarterback of the future there. He showed it last year. And they haven't done anything to bring they signed one player. They got to protect him. They got to give him time. So I'm just not impressed with them.
The only thing I'll say about Chicago, and then we'll move on, is just I don't know if they made the right head coaching move. You got a young quarterback.
Agreed.
And I'm not saying that he might be a phenomenal head coach. And I've heard a lot of players say good things about him that came from, the organization. And I don't want to trash him. But I just felt like personally, you need somebody who's going to be able to help move Justin Fields along in his career. We don't want Justin Fields to become another Mitch Trubisky. And let's be honest with you, Trubisky made it to the playoffs twice. And he still got kicked out of town in Chicago. Yes, you can talk about his play all you want, but he went to the playoffs twice and was a Pro Bowler while in Chicago. So in the end, the statistics and all that stuff, that's what he was. We don't want the same thing to happen to Justin Fields. Next, the Detroit Lions. David Blau coming in at quarterback. Tim Boyle also both re-signing. DJ Chark, we talked about him earlier coming in. Josh Reynolds and Khalif Raymond signing back with this team. Jared Griffin, Evan Brown, Charles Harris, Alex Alazzoni, Chris Board, Jared Davis, Mike Hughes, Tracy Walker, and CJ Moore are the signings for the Lions. Nothing jumps off the page other than DJ Chark. That does give them a pretty solid receiver.
I like Chark. But for me, the one that I think is sneaky and he really hasn't even showed is Harris.
Right.
Harris was when he was being drafted, there was talk of him going as high as like 12. He ended up falling in the second round, and he's never really gotten the opportunity. Trey Flowers is gone, and Dan Campbell. I cannot say enough about this. Dan Campbell's energy is off the chain. Like my brother says, he thinks the Fords make more money off the Lions losing, but I really think.
He does say that. Shout out to Diddy. Shout out to Diddy.
But Campbell is a whole different, flavor up there. And I really like what he brings to the team. So I think he can do it. Jared Goff is not the answer, though.
I want to see him win, just not against Green Bay. Speaking of Green Bay, we're swinging over there. Here are the Packers offseason moves. Obviously, they're the biggest. Come on, man. I haven't even started yet. You don't have to start laughing before I start reading. The Packers, they signed a punter, so that's why they got like Borquez go. I like Borquez, man. I'm still mad about that. Pat O'Donnell, who I've never heard of, the Packers signed. Keyshawn Nixon signed as a cornerback. Rasul Douglas, glad to have Douglas back. That was a big one. Jaron Reed comes over from Kansas City. Preston Smith comes back. Preston Smith had a pretty good year last year. Cool with Smith coming back. Devondre Campbell. Thank the Lord above that Green Bay has found their man in the middle. And thank the Lord above that this man he might be the most undercover all-pro of all time. Like he made all-pro, didn't even make the Pro Bowl. Make that make sense. All-pro, not a Pro Bowler. That makes no sense. You're the best middle linebacker in the league. First team, but don't make the Pro Bowl. I'm sorry.
Well, I just need to introduce him to a guy that I love. That his name is who's that really good linebacker we had from Nebraska?
Ooh, hold on.
Come on, you can do it.
Oh, I'm having a brain freeze. You got to just say it.
I'm not saying it. You got to get it.
From Nebraska? Oh, you're talking about from my team. Oh, no, from my team. I know you're talking about your team from Nebraska. Oh, yeah, you're talking about my man, Blake Martinez.
Yeah, no, Blake. I'm talking about from my team.
From your team?
The one player I wanted from Nebraska that is the unsung, best middle linebacker because of his size. He's, off the ball linebacker. It's not Devin White.
But you got Devin White, though.
But it's 54.
Levante David.
There you go, Pumpkin.
Levante David went to Nebraska?
Yes. You didn't know that?
I know. I thought he went. I don't know why I thought he went somewhere else. I didn't think he went to Nebraska.
Yes, he went to Nebraska. He's the one thing Greg Schiano fucking did right.
Well, there you go. There you go. And then, of course, Alan Lazard signs a 10-year. Robert Tonyan surprisingly comes back. And then, of course, we signed Aaron Rodgers to a $6 trillion deal. And that's pretty much where we are. All I want is a receiver, guys. That's all I got. That's all I got. Just give me two solid receivers. Receiver, sign me a veteran. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Ain't going to happen. If they were going to sign a veteran, they already would have.
They're going to trade for somebody. Don't let my hopes give up.
They don't trade for people. They trade people away.
All right. So next we're going to move on to the Minnesota Vikings. They signed Kirk Cousins to a 1-year, $35 million deal, fully guaranteed. That puts them under contract through 2023 and reduces their cap number in 2022 almost by $14 million. Sean McMahon signs a 1-year deal. He actually played last year for them, I think, when they played the Packers. Cousins couldn't play because of COVID, and he came in and played. Green Bay handled business that night, and Green Bay made me smile. Chris Reed, Jesse Davis, Harrison Phillips, Jordan Hicks, Zadarius Smith. Oh, you talking about one that hurts? That's the Darius Smith one. Hurts. Patrick Peterson and Jordan Berry. Why?
Do you think when Smith sacks Rodgers the first time when he hits him, are we going to see dollar bills pop out of Rodgers?
Next team. Next team. Next team. We're going to the NFC South, Atlanta Falcons. A lot of man, they've made a lot of moves. I can't believe they made this many moves. They signed Marcus Mariota. They bring back Cordell Patterson, Damian Williams, former Bears running back. He's slash Chiefs running back. He's back. Demir Bird, Kaderil Hodge, Alden Tate from Cincinnati. Jake Matthews signs a 3-year extension. Elijah Wilkerson, Lorenzo Carter, Rashawn Evans, who they signed yesterday. Casey Haywood, pretty decent signing. Eric Harris, Dean Marlowe, Young Ho Koo, and Bo Brinkley. And that's who all that
their kicker is one of the best kickers in the NFL.
Yeah.
Hands
and then
down.
you know what? They've had that luck with their last 2 kickers. Him and the guy before was
Morton?
my God. What was this guy? What was the guy before?
Was it Morton Anderson or
No. They had Morton Anderson too, but their kicker before there. Oh my God. I had to look back at it. But
he was from Tampa. We cut him.
Oh my God.
Shit,
But he
what's his
was
name?
really good for Atlanta for a couple of years. I'm not gonna do this to myself. We'll figure it out later because I'm almost 100%. It's gonna bother.
I know because it was from Tampa. We caught him when we drafted that Arroyo tard.
Oh my God, dude! It's gonna bother me because I don't know who it is. We'll have to figure it out a little bit later.
All right, but I'm glad they brought back Patterson. That Casey Hayward is good, but he is hurt a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just looking forward to playing Atlanta twice this year.
I bet you are, sir. Next, we got the Carolina Panthers, another team I'm pretty sure you're going to be glad to play a couple times this year. They brought in Deontay Foreman, which I really think is a nice pickup for this team because he did really good things for Tennessee last year when Henry went out. And obviously, Carolina loves to run the football. So if CMC is not 100%, this is a great move along with Hubbard. They have them there. Rashard Higgins coming in over from Cleveland. DJ Moore signed an extension. Brandon Zalirista. I don't know. Austin Corbin, Bradley Bozeman, Marcus Haynes, Matt Ioannidis signed with Carolina.
That's a steal.
That's a steal right there for Carolina. Damon Wilson, Deontay Jackson, Rashawn Melvin, Justin Burris, Sean Chandler, Xavier Woods, Johnny Heckler over from the Super Bowl champs has a really nice pickup, and Zane Gonzalez. But yes, the Matt Ioannidis is a steal for Carolina.
The Commanders are just dumb because, I mean, he didn't have the numbers that the other first-round picks, but he's the reason they had the numbers they had because he got the pressure.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying. So, like, they lost a couple. They lost Tim Settle also on that line and went to Buffalo, and so I want to see what they do there. And with Young coming off of injury, I hope that they've lost Kerrigan, Ioannidis, and Tim Settle. That's 3 key pieces of that depth in the last two, and that depth for that team in the last 2 seasons. So I'm interested to see how they try to rebuild it up.
Jarman Davis looked completely lost all year. He just didn't look like he was comfortable playing in the scheme, and he's supposed to be the guy calling it. Mm-hmm. Cole Holcomb, shout out to him. He's a monster.
And that's what, and I think, with Davis, it may still take a little bit more time. But it's just that defense that we expect that was Super Bowl caliber the year before. All of a sudden just
Rivera was looking for his next, Luke Kuechly, and he didn't get that.
He didn't get it. And we'll see. There's still a little time. I think Davis has potential, but is going to have to show up really quick.
Let's just be honest about potential and time. In today's NFL, that don't mean a damn thing.
That's like social media. It's the quick fix in today's society. If you don't have it right away, and you're lucky if you can stay, unless you got the Jeff Fisher disease. It doesn't happen often. Next, we got the New Orleans Saints. They signed Jameis Winston to a 2-year, $28 million deal. Andy Dalton comes in. Traquan Smith. Cole Charlton, Kentavious Street, PJ Williams, Marcus May, and Daniel Sorensen, who got burnt strategically.
That makes me happy because I just picture Chris Godwin running by him.
You might as well picture it a lot because he got destroyed when he was in Kansas City. Every week I saw Kansas City fans just letting Sorensen have it.
No, did you? They set up a GoFundMe to pay off his contract so he could be released.
I didn't know that. That's great.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, if
GoFundMe, y'all can release him now.
they really did. I mean,
hey, that's
that tells you
hilarious.
how. And he talks smack, and then you look at Taco Charlton, former first overall pick by the Cowboys. He's done nothing, and that's what worries me because his numbers weren't quite as high as Aiden Hutchinson and Alabo. I don't know how to say his last name, but defensive players from Michigan going in the first round don't work out well. Jabril Peppers.
Yeah, Peppers has been, I think we're going to see a resurgence of Peppers in New England because I always feel like Belichick does a really good job with those type of players.
And I would love to see that because I like Peppers. You know how I feel about Michigan players, but Peppers is my number 2 because I absolutely love and think he is a phenomenal player, and that's Charles Woodson. That man was amazing. He could do anything he wanted to on the football field.
That right there. All right, let's swing to the Super Bowl 54. I think I'm saying that. No, what was last Super Bowl? 55. So the Super Bowl 55 champ, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Obviously, the best news they could have got all off season. Tom Brady says, "Man, bump this 40 days with these kids, man. Them kids." Tom Brady is back with the Bucs. Giovanni Bernard re-signed the other day. Leonard Fournette is back. Shaq Mason comes back to be with Tom. Russell Gage, a really low-key, this is a really solid move here for Tampa Bay.
It's a great slot guy because if you look at the way, Godwin did a lot out of this slot. We didn't have anybody really. The mystery of what happened with Scotty Miller last year is still in my head.
It's still blowing your mind, right? Because the upside was there. The upside was there, and it just kind of where's Scotty Miller?
Cebro Grayson stepped up a couple times. Perriman came back on the cheapest contract you possibly could ever get for a wide receiver. But I'm very interested in Gage.
Yeah, Gage is going to be, and you still got Tyler Johnson on there. You got like 9 guys at receiver.
Tyler Johnson, I don't see being on our team next year, or he possibly could not make it.
He may not make it through camp. He may not make it through camp.
Well, he has a bad case of the drops, or he does the body catch instead of using his hands.
Can't do that with Tom Brady.
Yeah,
you won't get the football. You won't get the football at all.
No, absolutely.
You won't get the football.
It's one of those things, but
I guess we'll see on that. So Chris Godwin received a franchise tag, but then locked into a 3-year, $60 million contract. Perriman is back. Josh Wells re-signs. Aaron Stinney? Am I saying that right?
Stinney. Yeah.
Stinney. Oh, that's French. Ryan Jensen, Carlton Davis, Logan Ryan, which is a really nice pickup for the team, and Zach Trenner are all back there for the Tampa Bay.
Do you know where Logan Ryan went to college? Nebraska.
He went to Nebraska too. I don't remember Nebraska. I was about to say, wait a minute. I don't remember Nebraska having all of these guys. I mean, like, to be honest with you, I don't remember the last time I can remember Nebraska. Like, when we were growing up, Nebraska was a powerhouse. And they're just not a powerhouse anymore, which is sad because,
Martinez is, all right, I guess, but
wait a minute. Martinez has been the quarterback there for 10 years. Like, I don't know how he's doing it. Dude, is he still the quarterback there? Bruh, it's crazy. Like,
but everybody got an extra year because of the COVID year. So he's
how many extra years did a man
I think he's like a 12-year senior. I don't know.
Bruh, I'm telling you.
Logan Ryan actually went to Rutgers.
Okay, all right, yeah, because that's right. Russ, I have heard Russ talk about how him being from New Jersey.
I'm pumped about that. I love getting Leonard Fournette back. Ronald Jones never panned out for the second rounder we thought he could be. Yes, he had that 98-yard touchdown, but if we can get Leonard Fournette rookie year, oh man.
All right, so we got our last 4 teams here. Then we're gonna go to our draft and then we're going to finish this bad boy out here on the podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in today. Here we go. Arizona Cardinals. Colt McCoy resigns, who had a nice little game or two for the Cardinals when Murray went down. James Conner signing back, huge one. He had a breakout year last year. Zach Ertz returns, gives him some give him a very solid.
Hey, congratulations on the Ertz.
That's right. First baby, man. Congratulations.
Yep.
That child's gonna be like a super Olympian or something. Like all that.
Don't curse the child by putting.
I'm just saying, man. Look, I'm not the one that's gonna be cursing the child. You know how that works. I'm still waiting for Steffi Graf and Andre Agassi kid to come out here and be the number one tennis star in the world.
That girl's gonna hate tennis.
Probably so.
I mean, let's be honest.
She'll be, a lacrosse star. Next we got Zach Ertz, Max Williams, William Hernandez, who was drafted by the Giants a couple of years ago. He comes in. Michael Dogby, Dennis Gardek, Nick Virgil, and then Jeff Gladney and Andy Lee for Arizona. Nothing too big, like the Ertz, like the Connor signing.
The Hernandez signing on the low key is really good. I loved Hernandez coming out of college. He has a mean streak, but he cannot be the only person blocking on that line. And let's say that Giants line sucks ass.
He was the only person blocking on that Giant. He knew what it was all about. He said, I got to go somewhere else, man. I can't do this no more. He knew it was time to go. LA, we go to the defending champion, the LA Rams.
Boom.
3-year, $129 million extension, which includes a $60 million signing bonus. And they were able to clear some cap space. I'm still trying to figure out how a team that gave away the future, they signed him. Allen Robinson comes in on a 3-year, $46 million. Joe Noteboom comes in. He resigns. Brian Allen resigns. Bobby freaking Wagner comes to be the anchor on that defense along with Jalen Ramsey.
He gave up $18 million 1-year contract to come play with the Rams.
Yep, because he wanted to go smack Seattle a couple of times. But man, I feel bad for Seattle. I don't know who the Seattle quarterback is going to be when the season starts, but I'm praying for you.
He needs 2 helmets.
Yeah, you need 2 helmets because it's going to be rough. Because and real quick before we move, just the way they did him in Seattle, not even telling him he was released, he had to find out from Ian Rappaport. He didn't even know he was getting released. That is crazy stuff. San Francisco 49ers, Jermichael Hasty, Jeff Wilson, Ray McLeod, Ross Dwelly, Kerry Hyder Jr., Hassan Ridgeway, Oren. Oh my God, I didn't know they signed Oren Burks. What? Oh shoot, I didn't even know that. Oh dang.
That's a low key good one.
No, well, I mean it's great, but it's just I didn't know he left our team. That's what I didn't know. Darquez Denard, Dante Johnson, Chartavius Ward, and Greg Odom. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing for San Francisco for me is that they didn't get rid of Jimmy G. So now we got to wonder what that's going to look like at the beginning of the season. So,
they really need to cut his ass, to be honest. They moved up to get Trey. They let him set a year. It's time to put him on the field. That's the way it's going to be.
It's the way he's got to learn. I mean, to be honest with you, let's be honest with you, he's got to learn. That's the only way that he's going to learn unless he's out there on the field. And I think that's what ends up happening this is another victim of the quarterback carousel that we saw. Like everybody going in there, we thought that, he would be one of the first guys. We thought he was going to be in Pittsburgh. And well, guess what? He's not. And he's still in San Francisco. I thought people were too high on him in the first place. When you go
I'm
back.
not going to disagree with you on that because, do you remember Brady tore his ACL?
Yeah.
And he was out for the season, and then his backup goes off, and then all of a sudden Kansas City cheap him, $70 million for 2 years.
Don't get me wrong, he had some good moments, and he beat us. I'm not going to trash him too bad, but it really wasn't him. Like it was Deebo Samuel, and their defense beat us, and their special teams. And it just made me.
Deebo Samuels is a very, very special talent.
Yes, he is. He is an amazing, amazing talent. And I think that, we already heard that McDaniel is going to try to use Tyreek Hill in that same form. But, you got to be, first of all, Tyreek Hill not 6'4" or 6'5" and 260 pounds of muscle. So I'm intrigued to see how Miami's going to do that. But
I'm just scared for Tyreek because if he comes across the center, remember what happened to Brown? He was normal, and then he got lit up by Burfett.
Yeah.
And now,
ta-da. Ta-da. Let's hope that doesn't happen. That last team, Seattle Seahawks, Drew Lock acquired in the trade, Rashawn Penny, who had a 1 year 5.75.
Finally broke out and played like a running back.
He really had some really nice games this year. And I'm intrigued to see how that works now that Carson should be back. So they should have at least a good running game, at least. But we'll see. Will Dissly, Noah Fant, who really had some good moments in Denver, but now, unfortunately, Drew Lock has followed him.
We'll never Noah.
Wow. That's a good one, sir. Austin Blythe, Kyle Fuller, Shelby Harris, Quentin Jefferson, Al Woods, Ushini Wusu, Artie Burns, Justin Coleman, Sidney Jones, and Quadre Diggs. And once again, for all of the people's names I destroyed during this session, I do utterly apologize during the session. But that is it. That's our free agency, man. Seattle's got a lot to do. So I'm intrigued to see where Seattle goes here in the next,
This is great. I like finally you're butchering them. I'm just sitting back laughing.
I'm just tossing out the best names I can, man. Like I told you,
I love you studied up so much on the show. You didn't realize that one of your players that did well.
I didn't even know, bro. I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know he was gone.
I knew every player that was left. I mean, both of our guards and what are all pro guard for 1 year, a Pro Bowler for 2 years, just ups and retires.
Yeah. And
I mean what can you say?
Yeah, I mean it's a tough deal. It's a tough deal. All right. So that was it for our all season. We done went through everything. So now we're gonna do our draft, and after that, we'll give you our quick MLB predictions for the World Series and quick NBA Finals predictions. So let's go ahead and do our top 10 mock draft. It's going to be a fun one here, y'all. We got a couple weeks. I know Jay is ready. We're about like 3 weeks out from the draft. Let's go.
Yes.
The best 3 days in the off season are coming up starting April 28th. All right, so let's do it here. Jay, let's do our top 10. Who do you got going number 1 to the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Number 1, I mean, he already had the visit, the talks there, Aiden Hutchinson.
I'm also agreeing with you, and Aiden Hutchinson is becoming a Jacksonville Jaguar. At number 2, the Detroit Lions. This is where it starts to get interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time in a long time where a draft hasn't been the top 5 picks haven't been laid out, mostly for a long time. So I'm going to actually go, and he is a generational talent with Kyle Hamilton. They got to do something secondary-wise there. That is a need. They brought in wide receivers free agent-wise. St. Brown really came up, so I don't see them doing anything offensively. That line is but Hamilton.
If they went off the line here, I wouldn't be surprised. Neither.
Well, but that line is still deep. If you look, safety is one of the there's like maybe 3 safeties in this class that will be, starters. The rest will all be backups. So I'm going Hamilton.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Detroit has always been a team in the draft that does things that you say, what?
They're gonna draft a kicker?
Oh man, I didn't want to see this. I'm sorry.
What?
Whitney Mercilus, a second round, 2012 first round pick of the Texans, and the 2016 second team All Pro has announced his retirement. Oh God!
Didn't you guys sign him?
Yeah, we did.
Oh.
Well, we traded for him during the off season. We hadn't heard anything from him yet because we hadn't signed him back yet. So, well, it is what it is. I got Detroit. I got Detroit going with Malik Willis, man. I think they're going to surprise everybody, and just blow up the dry
I've
water.
seen that in a couple of them, but I
at first I was going to say no, but the more I look at it, it just feels like a Detroit move. You want to bring
ruin a young man's life.
Yeah. You want to bring in somebody. Here's the thing. You're Dan Campbell. Yes, they brought in Goff, but Goff's not, in my opinion, still not his quarterback. You see what I'm saying? Like that sometimes you got to bring in your quarterback. I feel like this could be the moment they do it. And this will probably change before we make before I make the official block. But right now, I got let's go number 2.
I don't feel I'm reaching up that far with the quarterback because they have 32 and 33.
Yeah, I see. If they don't go quarterback here, I think they get. If Desmond is still there, I think Desmond Riddler is going to be the guy towards the end of the first round or beginning of the second, if he's still there.
Or Sam Howell.
So don't be surprised if one of those guys are off the board of that to Detroit.
Number 3, we got the Texans. Yeah.
I got Kayvon Thoreau. Is it Thoreau? Am I saying that right?
Who?
Thoreau.
Yes.
Thoreau.
Kavion
Thoreau. I'll get it right. Draft show.
The edge rusher from Oregon. Yeah, I'm going Evan Neal, the tackle from Alabama.
That's a good pick. I almost went Neal on this one because I'm like, make that offensive line as great as possible, especially when you have a quarterback that is, still young, has to learn how to win on the road because he was miserable on the road. Good at home, miserable on the road. So that's something they got to fix if they want Davis Mills to be the guy, going forward.
Makes sense.
Number 4, Jets.
I know the Jets have a couple young studs in the back for their secondary, but everybody is so high on this guy, and I'm not. His freshman year, I loved him, but Devin Singletary Jr. Is who I have them taken just because of the hype. I mean, if you go back, Greedy Williams was supposed to be a high top 10 pick, and he fell in the second round of the Browns.
Right.
I haven't seen much out of LSU corners. So, but
I went with Evan Neal here. I mean, I also, thought about the guy from North Carolina State, and I'm not going to destroy his name. Yeah, I'm going to let you know.
I call him Iki Ikawana.
Iki,
like Icky Woods. That's his nickname. He goes by
really?
Icky. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm calling him Mickey because I'm not destroying that. Icky Ikawana. But I got Neal going number 4. Who do you have the Giants taking at 5?
Kayvon Thoreau, the edge rusher.
I got Icky.
I actually got Icky going to the Panthers because in state product they've seen him play. Mm-hmm. I remember reading he's actually there for their in-state tryouts too.
That's a good deal.
They do get those. So I mean, I definitely, if they don't pull the gun on quarterback, which I don't think Matt Rule is smart enough. I don't like him. I don't. I think he is a waste of space.
I think a waste of space. I actually have them picking a quarterback. I got Kenny Pickett going here at number 6 to Carolina. They need a quarterback. That's all
He got grab the little hand. It's strong.
Next, we got the Giants at 7. Who do you have the Giants with their second top 10 pick?
Charles Cross. They definitely got to stir up that line if Shaq or Barkley is going to come back and be productive, and Daniel Jones ain't going to get tripped up by Manti Te'o's girlfriend.
Oh boy, I have the Giants going with Trayvon Walker. To give them that edge guy here at this spot, and hopefully they can.
People got him going so high, and if you pull the game tape, it's not that impressive, man.
He must be saying something behind the scenes to get everybody,
He is, and I'm going to rip on my own college team. What the numbers at the combine is what causing him to go up. Mm-hmm. And I really see a Vernon Golston type of player here. I'm not impressed. Golston got it done on tape, but it was against not pros.
Yeah, right. Number 8. Who do you have the Falcons taking at 8?
Sauce Gardner, my highest rated corner. Everything. He ticks every box. He's got the height, the hip swivel, the agility, and the speed. I love this kid.
I'm gonna say, if in real life somehow Willis gets here, I think they take him. I think that's a strong possibility they take Willis here if he's there. I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but if he's there, I got a feeling. But they do need receiver help because all their receivers have been taken. I got Jared. I got
quarterback,
Jared,
guard, center, defensive line, cornerback, wide receiver. They need everything, bro.
That sounds like everything. I'm going Wilson on this one. You want to kind of take the attention off of you want to be able to take the attention off of Kyle Pitts just a little bit because they don't have anything else. I mean, don't get me wrong. Amalaise Zaccheaus is my guy, but you got to have more. You got to have more.
If you want something fun to watch, go back, rewatch Cincinnati play Alabama and see what Sauce Gardner does to Williamson. That's all I'm saying.
That's all you got to say. That's all you got to say. Next one, we got number 9, Seattle. Who do you got Seattle taking there?
I got them taking Malik Willis. They're going to pull the trigger at a quarterback there.
I think there's a strong chance. If he falls that far, definitely. I think that happens. As long as nobody trades up or they don't trade up. I got, but I was going to go quarterback here at one point, but now that the 2 quarterbacks I have off the board, I actually went with Charles Cross. They've had major issues on the offensive line for years. Now, I know this is not going to be sexy for Seattle fans, but if you're going to take the L and have Drew Lock be a quarterback for this year and then maybe look next year as a quarterback, that could be a possibility. I can understand that, but you got to start building that offensive line.
The last time they had a tackle that was a stud wasn't it like Steve Hutchinson?
It's been a long time. It's been a long time.
So, yeah.
It's been a long time. And number 10, who do you have at number 10?
Garrett Wilson, wide receiver, Ohio State.
I don't know if the rumors are true and if he falls to the Jets here, oh my goodness. I got Kyle Hamilton. I got a feeling the rumors might be semi-true. And if they do, if you're the Jets, you can't pass up on him. I think you bring him with Soleil, it could be monstrous.
But look who they just signed in free agency and who they already have. Safety is not a need there. If he falls like what the rumors are, his ball stop at 11 at the Commanders.
Yeah, they need a safety bad. They need a safety
But
bad.
But
this could just be a luxury pick. I mean, sometimes I don't know what the contracts look like. I mean, if they've got guys that are, soon to be out and they need the position filled, who knows? But I think if you're the Jets, you got 2 picks, take the best guy available. He's the best guy back. Look, he's the best guy available at that spot. So I got him going to the Jets at 10.
Hamilton he's got the knowledge, and I've watched more tape on him because, I'm huge on watching the combine numbers, and his 40 in the combine was not great.
No,
his 40 at pro day wasn't even better, but his skill to read a play, that's different.
I still think he's nicked up, and I think that he obviously got out there to try to to boost his stock up, and sometimes you got to get fully healed from those injuries. I don't think he's there yet, but I still think if you're a team and you take a chance on him, grab him, build him up, let him get healthy, and then boom,
you got a 6'4", 220 missile in your backfield.
Exactly. All right, everybody, that is our top 10 mock draft, and obviously we got our show coming up here in the next couple of weeks, so be on the lookout for that. That's going to be a fun one as we do our 5th annual. Man, I can't believe it's already at our 5th annual show. All right, so we're going to end this bad boy, and they're going to be really quick topics here. We thank you for joining us for this one. We're going to do our predictions on the MLB season, and we're going to do our NBA playoffs. Let's do the MLB first. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the season will start on Thursday.
About
Jay,
damn time.
I just want to know, and we don't have to go to crazy detail, but I want to hear, what your World Series predictions are. Who do you have going to the World Series this year?
Okay, now this is going to sound weird, and I apologize. I'm going to give you 2 teams from each league
Okay.
that will potentially go. So from the NL, the Braves. The Braves are still the Braves. Let's be honest. And
Right.
they won without their stud. And then you got to go with the Dodgers that have the Yankees payroll of the 90s. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. Yeah, I don't know how the Dodgers are still paying for people. It's ridiculous.
You know,
when I heard they got Freddie Freeman, I was like, this is ridiculous. How does this keep happening?
That actually hurt my heart because Freddie Freeman for me was one of them guys that will always, he didn't abandon ship the way Jason Hayward did and went to the Cubs. Yeah, he got a ring, but Freeman stuck it out and made sure that his team that believed in him got a ring before he left.
I think with Freeman, we also got taken the fact that he's from the LA. I think he's from the California, that area, and I think he wanted to play for his hometown team. I think I think he pulled a Devontae Adams on that one. I think that had a lot to do with him. And then, of course, when the Braves went and did that trade for the first baseman from the A's, Matt Olson, I believe Matt Olson. When they traded for Olson, I think that was the dagger. I think both teams,
if that felt like a big.
Yeah, I think they both kind of knew at that point that it was time to move on, and they got a championship out of it, and Acuna's going to be back, and so you brought in an all-star. I don't think, like you said, I don't think the Braves missed a beat.
But and then for the AL is tricky just because the Astros are still loaded and still finding ways to cheat, so they're going to be in it.
Hilarious.
But then the other team, it's hard to pick between the White Sox and the Blue Jays. They're both loaded with Remember, like, we go back when we would talk with I can't even think of his name. Yeah, our friend down there from Amelia. Oh God!
Don't give me the.
He was a security guard at the school.
Olan.
No, not Olan. He was part of the network. Him and I followed prospects.
Adam. You're talking about Adam.
There we go. Yeah, Adam. And we were talking about the new guys coming through the Blue Jays organization and things like that. And I really believe the Blue Jays have something on the low key that they're working on.
They got everybody's kid. They've got everybody's kid.
Not everybody's kid because Tatis is, and with San Diego.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I said, man, they've got everybody's kid. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen, man. But I went with, and this is going to be wild, but this is what I'm going with. I still like the Rays. I think the Rays are still going to compete. And, I think they'll still try to find a way to make things happen. If I had to pick a second team in there, I went with the Astros for those same reasons that you said. And I like Dusty. I want to see Dusty Baker win a ring, man. I want to see Dusty Baker win a ring. Then I have in the NL, I have the Cardinals. Pujols signed back, and the Cardinals are one of those teams that if they make the playoffs, they always got a shot at the World Series because there's something about that organization. I can't put a finger on it. Matt Holliday, all those guys on there. Pujols is back. This would be the farewell tour, but I got the Cardinals.
You basically just said that the senior citizen home for the MLB is going to win the World Series.
It could happen. It could happen. It definitely could happen. Right now, mentally, I have Cardinals and Rays. That's what I went with. All I care about, all I care about, just get Seattle in the playoffs. You can't make the playoffs with the teams being 6. What? 2 more. If this was last year, Jay, we'd be in 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row.
I don't have a baseball team anymore because the Cleveland Indians don't exist.
No, they don't. That's a tough time, bro.
I mean,
I wouldn't tell you to come to the dark side, but it's not a dark side. It's just a sad side. So those are our World Series picks. All right, last thing before we get out of here, y'all, we're going to give you our NBA thoughts real quick and just give you who we think could go or, NBA finals here.
LeBron's a punk.
Oh, my God. Well, the Lakers are officially eliminated from the playoffs. They're out.
Yes, the greatest news ever.
Frank Vogel will not be returning to the team. I'm pretty sure we're going to see another completely different Lakers team next season. For me, I there's two teams I like going out of the West. One, the Suns. Suns look phenomenal. They're on a mission. Chris Paul has had a taste of the finals, and I know he wants more. Actually, I got three teams in the West, but
he wants that ring.
He wants that ring. The Warriors, I think if they get healthy in the right spot, they're going to be just as dangerous. But the team to watch out for, ladies and gentlemen, would be the Memphis Grizzlies.
I was going to say it.
Ja Morant and the guys out there are just they want it, and all he keeps talking. If you go on his social media, he keeps saying, "I want a ring. I want a ring. He wants that ring." He's one of the toughest players in the league, and for low key for like 20 years, the Memphis Grizzlies have been one of the best ran organizations in the NBA. They're always in the mix. They've always seemed like they're always in the playoffs. Maybe had a couple of down years here and there, but for the most part, they've been phenomenal.
Yes, the best thing they did is when they brought Ja in, he played a year with Mike Conley. And I think Conley brought him under his wing, taught him. And, man, he is a leader, and he is a monster. Do not piss him off.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, the kid is a stud, absolute stud.
I agree 1,000% with those.
The East gets complicated. The East get real complicated.
Hey, who's number one right now?
I don't want to get too hyped because, we've lost to 8 seed being number one before, so I know better from that. Look, I like what we have as a team. I still don't even think we're 100% healthy. Obviously they had a little spat during one part of the season where there was a little spat between, Hassan, I can't think of my man's name, Udonis Haslem, and then Eric Spoelstra and Jimmy Butler. A little thing going on there, but that's all good. They're past that. They've been to this team has pretty much been to a finals in the last couple of seasons. It's going to be tough in the East. Just looking at the teams from top to bottom, I feel like he can go anywhere. But if I had to go, I'm going to go Heat. The Celtics came on, man. The Celtics were looking bad at the beginning of the season, and now they're the number 2 seed. The Bulls were up at the top, and they've fallen back. But I'm going.
Cleveland's been the same. They were up there, and now.
Yeah, I'm going Bucks, Heat, and Celtics as the teams I'm looking for out of the East.
I like the Heat, but I really Philly. I can't even say anything. I can't even say anything about Cleveland because they're still young. They got stars in the making. Next year we'll talk differently, but I'm gonna go, and I know that they're low right now, but since he can play now at home, not being vaxxed, and I'm gonna go Brooklyn, Philadelphia, and the Heat. All
right, sounds good. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. That is episode 292, man. We put 2 episodes into one. That's what we've been here almost 2 hours. I didn't even realize it that we were just rolling like this.
Well, that's because you were stuttering trying to throw shit out there.
I'm still trying to figure out people's names, Jay.
Hobby
Habadubadab. Yes, that is that young man's name. Once again, everybody, thank you all for tuning in. Before we run, we do have one more time. We got to let you know that we've got LeGarrette Blunt coming in. LeGarrette, I always say it wrong. I'm going to let you say it.
Because there's no L after the A. LeGarrette Blunt.
All right, you're going to say it. Go ahead, Jay. Tell him.
LeGarrette Blunt, 3-time Super Bowl champion, former Oregon Dunk. Just overall great guy. But he was a monster on the field. He actually, if I remember correctly, was the guy that invented the hurdle over the players. Remember that, D?
Yeah, he was out there destroying people, man. He was hopping over folks, man. And, till this day, I'm still back. I know why he didn't get drafted, but I just thought, but
it showed the passion that he played with.
Exactly. And now not a lot of people can say that they're a 3-time Super Bowl champion. But Mr. Blunt can do just that, ladies and gentlemen. All right, everybody. That is it. This has been episode 292. We'll see you back on Friday for episode 293. I hope y'all all tune in. It should be a fun show. I'm your man, Darrell Owens. This right here, too, this side here, whatever the camera is, my man, Mr. Jeremiah Quimby. Thank you all. We appreciate you. Jay, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Nah, same thing. Love your people. Live every day as your last. God bless.
All righty. Until Friday, we'll see you then for episode 293.